Hello and welcome to another episode of Ankle Sore. And today we look at the run home, last 6 rounds, and who we think will make the final 8. We believe there are 12 teams left with a genuine chance to play finals. So with 54 games to go, here is our final 8. And we start with 12th, and it's the Saints. 11 wins, percentage of 100.7, Andrew.
St Kilda.
At the moment, they're
currently in the 8th.
Spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got them falling out.
Falling out by a big way. They've capitulated. Like I keep saying, Ross Lyon is he's settled in,
Well,
mate.
they
can't
score early.
Yeah.
They can't score.
They can't score.
They
Max
can't
King's
score.
out. Max King. Ben King's out for Max.
St
Kilda one. He's out for a while, yeah.
And the opposition worked them out.
They've worked them out. Their game plan's non-existent, like I said to you last week. I don't know what they do. I don't know. They're just hitting hope.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah.
They're hitting hope.
They're not the finals.
They're not. They're not. Their run home probably suggests that, what have they got? North Melbourne, Hawthorn. They could probably win those two. Then it gets tough. It's Carlton, Richmond, Geelong, and Brisbane. So they finish.
They ain't winning any of those ones, guarantee you.
So we've got them finishing in 11th spot. No,
12th.
12th spot. Sorry. Yeah. 11th spot is Adelaide. Now, how's this? We've got them finishing with 11 wins, a percentage of 110. And for all the talk all year and.
Well, they dropped that one last week. It's going to cost them a final spot.
It probably will in the end.
Against GWS, which is disappointing. I still think there's an upside to Adelaide next year. I think they're still very young.
Yep.
If they can get another good year out of Tex, I still think they'll.
Yeah.
I think they'll play finals next year. I think it's not even it's a given,
Yep.
I just think that just like those last week really hurt them. And there was another game early in the year that they should have won. They lost. Doesn't help.
Did they beat Gold Coast, or did Gold Coast beat them?
Oh,
I think
Gold
it was
Coast
that one.
So I mean, you got to be beating Gold Coast and GWS to play.
Yeah, and that's what a young side does. They're
100%.
they'll
learn.
Inconsistent. Like they run home. They've got Melbourne this week, which is at the G, and how
I actually think they'll win that one, but you don't. But
no, I don't. But
I still don't think
in the
they'll play
long run,
finals.
it probably doesn't really matter. Then they've got Port. So at Brisbane to play as well. So they're going to
struggle.
They're going to struggle.
So we think we've got them at 11th.
Yeah, yep.
So missing the finals.
10th, we've got Richmond with 11.5 wins, percentage of 100.4. Why is that?
Don't know. Again, another team that struggled to score, sort of that mid-season.
Yeah.
When Lynch went down, they had a bit of a patch there where they couldn't score. They've gotten a bit better the last couple of weeks, but they've got some tough games coming up, which are 50-50.
Well, they've got obviously Hawthorn this week. It won't be an easy game.
It won't be an easy game. And I actually said, I think Vito might have mentioned it too, that they're a chance because Hawthorn, with their running game, can get them with their run.
Yeah, exactly.
So, even if they win that one, we don't think they're going to play finals.
Well, their biggest problem is they've got Melbourne, Western Bulldogs, and Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
So they're going to play 3 in the last 6.
Three of the top 6.
Which they probably won't win those.
Well, there you go. So that's why we've got them not playing finals.
Yeah, and it gives them that 11.5. 9th, GWS, and we've got them missing by 1.3%. With 12 wins, a percentage of 99. 1.3 is...
99.6. That's important.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember there was a couple of years ago, there was a West Coast game? Might have been West Coast.
No, it was Melbourne and West Coast.
It was in Perth.
Yeah, and they had the running...
Literally a point, a goal. It was changing every score.
So 1.3% could well and truly be, depending on the score of the game, could be a goal.
Yeah.
It could be a few points.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they could easily make it.
100%.
Off the back of...
It's funny because for ages I've been thinking, because I'm a huge NBA fan, as you can probably tell, Golden State Warriors. I don't follow them. I follow Philadelphia, but anyway, it's another story altogether. But
I got Geelong shorts on.
Yeah, I know. That disgusts me. I
don't know why.
Almost cancelled today because of that. But they don't have a percentage at all.
No,
right?
yeah.
And I always sort of think to myself, do we need percentage? But we do because it's a bigger score.
Yeah.
Because there's goals and behinds, and actually, obviously you're kicking more goals and behinds, you're winning. More
so
chance of winning, right?
For those watching, explain then. We have percentage, and we all know how percentage works. How does it work in basketball?
Points.
That's all.
There's no. They all play 82 games.
Yeah.
So they don't have rounds as such.
Yeah, it's a roster.
Yeah, so they'll have, throughout the season, they'll have like 6 games behind the top and whatever. So there's no percentage.
But once they get to 82...
Once they get to 82, you'll find...
So what if a team's one is 60 wins and 22 losses, 2 teams?
Well, this is a thing.
I hope that's 82.
This is a thing. They now have, which is what we're talking about here. Go on.
A ratio?
No.
Not Horatio from CSI.
No. They 3 years ago, in the bubble during the COVID period, they had a playing tournament.
Oh, okay.
Right, so that sort of eliminated all that. And what that also does...
Don't start.
No.
Don't say it too loudly because someone at the AFL will listen. They're already talking about wild cards and
It's got to happen, mate. It has to happen.
You can't...
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. No on a wild card.
Okay, so let's not bet on the AFL then.
No, but...
Because this eliminates any tanking because you've got until 10th to play finals.
Yeah, but a team that finishes 7th, that's 4 games ahead of 10th, can conceivably lose their spot.
How many teams?
Losing a game of footy.
How many teams? Yeah, well, okay. So
and you've worked... It's a marathon. You've worked hard
100%.
all year.
Well, we play 22. They play 82. They haven't played in
and we're back on the footy, but...
So with St Kilda missing, they're 6th at the moment, and we think they're going to miss.
Yeah.
So that in itself, so they've got a chance to redeem themselves, which there's more than likely they won't win, right?
Oh, where's St Kilda making it if they win a wild card draw, but because of their season they've had, I get that.
But that's my point, right? So, our game's full of injuries, and, if you've got injuries, mate, it's hard to, you might have a little stretch there. Like the Bulldogs came from nowhere in 2016 and won the flag.
But they qualified.
I know they qualified, but my point is,
you can't go to Wimbledon or the Australian Open and go, Fred, just come in. If you can win the next set, you're in.
Fred. There's never been a Fred.
He was a soccer player, Fred.
He was actually. So hang on.
Two sides to it.
So, for example, if you play West Coast twice this year, you're going to have a percentage boost. If you play Collingwood twice, you're not.
That's true.
So, is it fair that you play again? The competition's not even.
No,
right?
It's not.
So that's where this evens it up, right? If you're good enough to beat, if 10th's good enough to beat 7th to play finals
on one day,
hang on, but 7th's played West Coast twice and you've played Collingwood twice, and you miss out by percentage.
I get that, but
do you know what I mean? I think
it means now you got to win 5 games to win the flag.
Ah, well, so be it.
5 games.
Ah, well, so I
know someone will, but
that's the way it goes. I love it. Anyway, let's continue.
So GWS misses obviously. They've had a great season.
A great season with the new coach. It's
no matter what.
I'm actually amazed that they are where they are, and they're a chance to. They still could make it. I mean, 1.6%.
Wow, that's right.
A goal or two,
And just for those, GWS play Carlton at Marvel Stadium in that last round.
That's the one, and we've got Carlton winning.
We've got Carlton winning that,
so that's the one. So pretty much the winner of that plays finals.
Well, yeah, because
just about,
GWS jump in,
and Carlton jump out. So
is that how we've got it worked?
Based on what we've got, yes.
Interesting.
So our final 8, starting with
here it is, starting with 8th spot. We've got Essendon finishing with 12 wins, percentage of 100.9. It's a horrendous percentage of 50.
It is
for and against these days. Like in the old days, I know you're talking 5th spot. But, your percentages were 110, 115.
I think
Is it the evenness of the competition, I reckon?
I think so, but they lost about 8 to 10% on the weekend, losing to Geelong.
Copped a battering.
So that really hurt the percentage.
And they didn't kick. They kicked 40 or whatever it was.
45, I think they kicked us, which is horrendous, So that didn't help. But, you've got to give them some credit. If they slip into 8th and play finals, they were no chance at the start of the year. Like this time last year when they had Ben Rutten as coach and everyone, it's been imploding.
It's been a good rebound.
Yeah, they've done well.
Obviously, this week's an important
100%
game. They got the Bulldogs,
and again,
and that shapes it for them.
Basically,
we haven't got them winning that game.
We haven't, but there was 2 games that and the Bulldogs, Essendon is one of them.
Yeah,
that will shape the final 8.
That's one of them, and we weren't sure later on in the year because we've got GWS, which again, GWS, could shape.
So there's a couple of games,
but they've got a relatively good draw.
Yeah.
You look at it, they got the Dogs, but after the Dogs, they've got Sydney here, they got West Coast here, North here. So those 3 games they'll win at Etihad, Marvel.
Absolutely.
Etihad, Colonial.
Absolutely, Colonial.
They'll win those, and then they go to Giants Stadium to play the Giants and finish off with Collingwood. So they've got a handy little month. If they can roll Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah.
They're next month.
Yeah. So you're saying the Giants are going to shape the 8 because they've got Essendon and Carlton. Potentially they could...
Rolling right now naturally. I didn't even speak to you about that. But just
I know.
Thinking naturally. Like
Jesus,
thinking right
funny,
now, they can.
Yeah.
They can. They can. They got control of their own destiny.
Which is awesome. That's all you ask.
Yeah.
Like... As a team, you want to. If you keep winning, you're going to play finals.
That's right.
Like, doesn't matter how far behind you are.
So GWS have worked their pants off. Essendon have had a very good, consistent year. I think we spoke about Essendon's loss was their first.
Yep. Hiding. Yeah.
Worst. Their how can I put it? Their application was poor. It was all year they've been okay, even in losses.
Yeah.
And then you want a 10th side to come along in a wild card. You
do. Love it.
No, I won't. I'd be filthy if I was Essendon and GWS, and all of a sudden,
live with
Frankston VFL come through and
finish. It's an extra game. They get more money. They'll be happy.
That's what it's about.
That's all it's about.
That's what it's about. So 7th, we've got Carlton, 12.5 wins.
Made a late charge.
They've won 5 in a row. All by
4 in a row.
All by 50 points plus.
Yeah, they've belted. They couldn't score 50 points. Yeah, they couldn't kick 50 points.
But who have they beaten in the last 4 weeks?
I know. And even Port Adelaide. And, even just hearing the commentary yesterday and today, Port Adelaide were there. Like I said to you last week, they were there for the taking, 7 out. Got a couple of tough games coming up. Not saying it was a given, but now that it's happened, hindsight is a wonderful thing.
And, I hate saying this. A lot of people don't like it. The betting, the commercials, it really is infiltrating. And I don't bet, but you do. But the betting, they don't give away free money.
No, absolutely.
And when Carlton's $1.80 favourites, they're $1.80 favourites for a reason.
Carlton. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, even the agencies are not stupid.
No, they're
not going to say,
no.
hey, let's give Carlton $3. Port's lost 7 players, except Marvel, but Carlton can be $3.
Sure,
So exactly. So
no,
there is a bit of a gauge.
Yeah, there is a bit of a gauge.
Same as the lines.
And again, they thought, like I was thinking, 7 out. They're ready for a loss. 13 in a row. Something's got to give at some point, So
Essendon 8th, Carlton 7th, and in 6th we've got Geelong with 13.5 wins. Another contentious couple of games, but we've got them in 6th. So I've got the Cats in.
Yeah, you're wearing the shorts. You got them in.
I worked them in. So
they're playing 4 of the last 6 games at home.
They are. They had a tough opening. They didn't play at home in the first half of the year.
That was their fault because they were building a stadium,
which now won't get finished.
Let's not get started on that.
And having said that, just on a side note, today. Your mate there, Dan Andrews, has pulled the plug on the 2026 Com Games, which now makes sense why that Geelong Stadium is not going to get finished either, because that was supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's 2026. Were they
going to have the opening ceremony?
It's 2026.
Yeah, but the infrastructure hasn't even been.
Well, when you're a Muppet, you don't know what you're doing. But anyway, let's not get started on that.
I don't. Yeah. So what are we up to? Geelong. Bulldogs. Now, Geelong, I just want to touch on Geelong.
They Brisbane, make it by default.
Well, Brisbane this week at the Gabba, we've obviously...
Said Brisbane because they're playing at home.
Yeah, even though I did say in our last episode Geelong would win. Common sense to get the predictor going.
Yeah, well,
I've agreed on that one. But they've got Fremantle at home, then they've got Port at home, Collingwood at the G. They could beat Collingwood at the G. That's 3 weeks away. So I'm not saying...
Yeah, we're just predicting. It's hard to predict 3 weeks in advance.
St Kilda and GWS... Western Bulldogs at home again. So you're right. They've got a nice...
they win all the home games.
They've got a nice run home.
I can't take them seriously.
So...
They play so many games down there. There's look,
it'll bump them from... Well, they're in 5th and we've got them finishing 6th. They do drop one, so it's not...
Because they've got a couple of tough ones. I don't think they win staying with this Friday.
The 2 tough ones would be Brisbane at the Gabba
and
Collingwood at the G.
Yep.
So,
5th
spot, Western Bulldogs. We've got that's an interesting finish for them.
It is,
considering the way they've been going.
Yeah, they've got a couple of easy games.
You would take that, wouldn't you?
It wouldn't surprise me if we've got this totally wrong and they drop out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is that fine edge, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that they make it. We both think that they make it.
Well,
but... Geez, I didn't like what I saw last
on
week.
Thursday night.
It's
funny. You're picking it, and I said this.
Losing to Sydney in that way, and Sydney were ordinary at best.
We underestimated Sydney. Sydney have a crack. They were combative.
They kicked 68 points to win a game of football. That's not.
Yeah, I know that.
That's not good if you want to play finals. Like
I know that, but that means that the Dogs
couldn't
even defend that.
That's my point.
So,
but anyway, look,
they've got Essendon this week, and that's a real litmus test.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it really does shape the next 5 weeks. That game.
This weekend does, as in our preview.
Yeah.
You know, we said that this week will shape the 8. It potentially will.
Well, the Dogs...
Like, we could get it wrong and...
You're spot on about what you said before that they could miss because, like, we've got them winning games. Like, okay, Essendon. Then they've got GWS, which is in Ballarat. Now... That's
their only saving grace.
That's probably...
But having said that, GWS are the best scrappers in the business at the moment.
Who knows?
They could win that.
They go there and win that.
Hence why they could miss.
And then, obviously, Richmond, Hawthorn and West Coast... Look, if they're playing finals and you're half, wanting to, if you're half decent, you got to win. And they finish off with Geelong at Geelong, which is, Geelong at Geelong could be the one which could determine as well.
Yeah, true. So would you be happy with the Bulldogs playing in a playing tournament, finishing 7th? Seeing that they're on shaky ground? See, that's where it works.
So how would a playing tournament work?
So 7 play 10, 8 play 9.
So that's basically the what. And then what happens? The 2 winners go up into the final.
7th and 8th, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's what they're proposing. In the NBA, it's a bit different. If you finish 7th and 8th, you get a second chance. So the winners of...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They play each other. So you get a second chance in the NBA the higher you finish.
Yeah, okay.
But having said that, there's 2 divisions there.
It's too confusing. Just
I know.
Stick with 7v10.
Yeah, 7v10, 8, 9, and the winners go through.
So basically it's a top 10. Hello, 9th and 10th.
Well, it's not, because only the final 8 play.
No,
because the first 6 get a week off, mate.
I know, but 7th will play 10th. So 10th is in a final series. No matter what way you toss the dice, if you're having a top 10 and 9th and 10th are wild cards, that's the start of the final series.
So we've got Carlton, Essendon, GWS and Richmond, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, right?
Yeah.
They're all within...
a game of each other.
A game and a couple of percent. Right? That's fair, isn't it? Carlton's got West Coast twice this year. I don't know if the others have.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know that
You're starting to come around, aren't
you? But as long as you understand my theory.
I do.
I'm not tolerating finishing 7th, having like the Dogs have had a real battle this year. And they've done really well to be where they are.
Sorry.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
I keep saying this. It's a long season. And all of a sudden, St Kilda, I can't say St Kilda, but, who are we picking? Fremantle. All of a sudden falling to 10th.
Well, that's how the cookie... But you'll know this before. It's not like 4 weeks before the end of the season they're going to spring in. Oh, by the way, we're having a playing tournament. You'll know...
Yeah, well, we should know that decision.
Oh, you'll know after the grand final.
So the top 4 was pretty clear cut. However...
Not as clear cut as you think.
However, we've got Melbourne finishing in 4th spot with 17 wins and a ripping percentage, 125.
0.1.
0.1.
You got to put the points in, mate, because they all make a difference.
But when we were doing this, we didn't... Okay, the Jake Melcham goal Melbourne win at the time was in itself. Yeah. But doing this, we realised, how important is that win going to be?
Oh, very, very important. I mean, if we go to the third, we've got Brisbane finishing third with 17 wins and a percentage of 126.4. So
1.5%.
So, mate, no one would want to get belted. Brisbane or Melbourne wouldn't want to get belted in any games leading up to...
And to think that Brisbane were 28 points up early in that last quarter, and they probably, and we text each other at three-quarter time, Brisbane probably should have won that by 5.
Well, let's go back to when they played when the lights went out, Brisbane and Melbourne. And Melbourne were 40 points down.
That is a very, very good...
All right, so that
is brilliant.
So they've gotten close because of the... It's amazing.
That is incredible. Yeah. Because that was a 50-point margin. The lights went out.
The lights went out and they won by 11
Melbourne
points.
came rattling home.
So that could make a difference in the end
too. I remember at the time...
Go on.
I remember at the time, if you go back on that episode, just thinking off the top of my head, I think I said, what a farce. The game should have ended.
Yeah, sure.
Brisbane were 50 points up. They got a chance to regroup. They had 15 minutes off, freshened up, come running home. It was a 5th quarter. I've never seen 5 quarters of football.
Fair point, but Brisbane had the same rest too.
They did. And
that's it.
But the game should have ended there, and we spoke about that week ago.
True.
God, that was an eternity ago.
It was.
So second, well, just quickly, let's have a look at Melbourne's run home.
Okay.
They've got Adelaide at the G this week. They've got Richmond, North Melbourne. Carlton will be a tricky assignment. I'll call it a tricky assignment. Hawthorn could become a tricky assignment for some in the last 6 weeks.
They could. I think once Melbourne get Oliver back, if they can get him back in the next couple of weeks, I think those tricky assignments become
and then
wins.
Sydney. So you're saying, looking at this, Adelaide, you just tell me if it's a W or not. Adelaide at the G, Richmond at the G.
I think Adelaide will win this week,
You do?
funnily enough.
Well, to throw out that theory of Mel, because
No, but
they'll
look,
still finish fourth.
yeah, look, Melbourne will probably win.
Then you got Richmond at the G,
That's a tough assignment.
North in Tasmania,
Should be an
Carlton,
issue. Yep.
Hawthorn, and Sydney at the SCG.
So I think Richmond and Carlton are the only two real tough assignments.
That run home,
Yeah.
that last 6 games 6 weeks ago would have looked quite easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So, we'll look at Brisbane. Big game this week for them against Geelong.
this is the one. This is the one that sets up the. I mean, again, they don't lose at home. So you think they beat Geelong. I don't care how good Geelong's going. They'll have their 4 games. Chris Scott looks at the fixture. He's not stupid.
Well,
I'm not saying they're going to lose.
They're all humans.
Yeah, but of course. Well, do you think Port Adelaide looked at the fixture last week and said we've got 2?
100%.
Of course they did. Or else you're not going to, rest 7 players, or a couple were injured, but you don't make 7 changes for no reason, right?
So, okay, you don't do that. I've got no problem with what Port Adelaide did.
No, neither have I.
So why do we have the buy, and how did it come about 6 years ago?
No, it's ridiculous.
Because North Melbourne
rested,
and Fremantle
rested players.
I
think it was Fremantle, Ross Lyon.
Ross Lyon did it at Freo, and Brad Scott did it at North. Now,
I've got no problem with that. Because you're sending out a team not to lose. They might not be good enough, but they're still trying to win.
it's not tanking.
No. Tanking is when you play VFL players, right?
No.
Your list is your list.
Yeah. And tanking is when you play. Who was the player back then 6 years ago, the Melbourne player that said, I was asked to play full forward, never played full forward before?
When you change your whole...
Yeah, you're changing
everything.
the chess pieces without the players actually knowing.
Yeah.
So
that's tanking, but resting some players ain't tanking.
So going back on Brisbane, Geelong, Gold Coast up there, I think they've got no problem there. Fremantle,
no problem,
even though it's there. Adelaide back home.
Yep.
Collingwood at Marvel, round 23.
That
is a beauty.
That's going to be...
It's at Marvel on a Friday night.
Well, we've got them losing that one, of course.
We have.
Because we haven't tipped against Collingwood. So
surely in every run home you've done in your life, the last 6 weeks, you've got the top team winning every game.
Oh, close to that. Well, they're a standout this year, Collingwood, so... Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine them losing.
And then St Kilda at the Gabba, they'll come home. So they should win basically all of those bar
but again,
Collingwood. But
they're 1 point, what is it, 1.3%?
1.5%.
Yeah.
1.4 or whatever, 1.3, yeah.
Behind Melbourne. So they'd want to have some good wins up there. And they wouldn't want to take them too lightly.
It won't be a good win against Geelong at the Gabba. That'll be a hard fought.
That's the only one. But the other ones where they can maybe get some percentage, it might help them based on what we think.
Yeah. So second, we've got Port Adelaide, as probably expected with everyone.
Yep.
19 wins, we've got them.
Yep.
Their run home, obviously this week's huge for them.
Massive.
But even if they win this week, can they take top spot from Collingwood? Not really, because Collingwood...
Percentage is too good.
The percentage is too good.
I think it's about 10% difference, so I don't think so.
So again, looking forward, Port Adelaide, are they going to... Realistically, a Port supporter could go, oh, look, we fall over this week, but...
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We've got the showdown coming up. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
actually, both of these sides could probably...
afford to lose one.
Yeah, and take the foot off the pedal. Not that they're going to do it.
But see, it's
not as big as what everyone thinks, is what I'm saying, this game.
Oh, it is. I think the players think it is.
Of course.
But this is
bragging rights. It's not a dead rubber as such.
No, it's not. It's a great... it's going to be a good
do you think
tussle.
both coaches and game plans will be showing each other's cards this week?
That's what we don't know.
Yeah.
That's where me, personally, as a coach of either of these, I'd be strategic and go, okay, well, we're first or second no matter what, right? Let's just we'll play how we play, but we're not going to throw all eggs in one basket and try and do something special that we might want to do in the finals. If we've got to lever the pool, we're not pulling it this week. Either of them.
Is that your theory?
That's my theory.
My theory is old school. Just go out and beat them the way we're going to beat them in 6 weeks' time.
And get 9 injuries, and that's the end of your final series. I'm just saying.
Well, you could get 9 injuries doing your theory too.
100%.
I just go out and beat them and beat them again and again and again.
Kind of rosy.
Well, yeah, I know. I know.
Anyway, look, that's just... you have to look at that personally. I would look at that.
There'd be an element of it. How much I don't know.
There'd have to be.
But, yeah.
Like, you're telling me that, like, last week, Zach Tui was rested by Geelong.
Managed.
Yeah. Why? Well, we're playing down home against Essendon. We're fine without you. Like, if they really
I've got no problem with that.
No, they're right.
The basketball and the soccer, they all do it, but we don't.
But if they need to play Zach Tui, he plays.
That's right.
It's not managed because he's on crutches. No, he's fine to go.
Plus, we haven't got lists of 65 to pick from.
We haven't. That's the other issue, but that's another story.
Well, it'd be easily solved. Let's just have a reserves competition, and each team has their own reserves team.
We've got a semi-reserves competition.
It's substandard.
Yeah, the VFL
but if you have a genuine
reserves
competition where if West Coast is playing Essendon at Marvel Stadium, then West Coast is playing Essendon as a curtain raiser 2 hours before.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Or I get that they don't want to chop up grounds, but if Essendon's playing West Coast at 3 o'clock at Marvel, then Essendon and West Coast can play at Windy Hill or the Hangar in the morning.
Yep, I agree.
For every game in the competition, they could do that. Pick the lists up to 60, 65, whatever.
As you said, a Canadian person does our fixture. Rest my case.
That's right. Now, Collingwood have got finishing top, and their run home, they're at the G4 of the last 6 games. They're interstate this week. They win them all, and then they've got...
Bar one, maybe.
Like we discussed, look, they've got Carlton, Hawthorn, Geelong. They've got a couple of big games. They've got to play Port, they've got to play Geelong, and they've got to play Brisbane. I'm not saying they'll lose those, but you've got 3 teams that will be wanting to win games of footy.
100%.
So they're not going to get a soft run in.
No.
They're going to be tested.
No, and everyone wants to beat Collingwood because they're the top team. And
that's right. And, Carlton... So Port, Carlton, Brisbane, even Essendon and Geelong. It's actually a tough run.
It's a tough run.
Not a tough run in the sense they're going to lose top spot.
No. Because they're going to probably win most of those.
It's just a tough run because there's only one side there that is not in contention.
So again, takes you back to my theory. Do you hold back on any of those games?
There would be an element of that.
Okay,
no doubt. I've got no doubt about that.
Great.
So in closing, is there anything else to add to that?
No, I think that's it. That's our final 8.
I do want to throw in a little bit. Our final 8, we'll just go through it. So Collingwood first, Port Adelaide second, Brisbane Lions third, Melbourne fourth, make up the top 4, double chance. Then you got Western Bulldogs 5th, Geelong 6th, Carlton 7th, Essendon 8th, and missing out
is GWS, Richmond, Adelaide, and St Kilda. Fremantle don't count.
And Gold Coast, I guess.
Yeah, they don't count.
So...
first week of the finals.
I was going to say, let's have a quick chat about the first week of the finals.
Ooh, this is juicy. Who is it?
Well, Collingwood would play Melbourne at the MCG.
What a beauty.
And
Port Adelaide play Brisbane.
And Port Adelaide would host Brisbane.
Interesting, yeah.
And then the knockout finals would be Western Bulldogs, Essendon at Marvel. I wonder if they'll have that at Marvel or the MCG.
No, first week they probably have to have it at Marvel because there's too many games at the MCG. Because you got Geelong and Carlton.
And then Geelong and Carlton, which is 6v7 at the MCG.
Which will beat the MCG.
But don't forget they play Thursday night footy. So
absolutely.
There'll be a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. They don't play Sunday finals anymore. They haven't played Sunday finals.
Okay, so maybe they do play
6 years.
The MCG.
So I think they could. No, they couldn't. Oh, yeah, because of the interstate game. But they play them in such an order.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go beyond that. But
no, let's not.
That's an interesting final series to open up with, isn't it?
That's what we think it's going to look like anyway.
So let's see how close we got. So there you go, our final 8 for season 2023. Comment down below. Tell us how you think we went and who you think might make it, or if we're wrong, or if you agree, and see how close we actually got. And if you're enjoying our channel as much as we enjoy making videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It would really help us out. And we'll see you in the next one.